Okay, asks this great question on talking about the fields of energy that Hawkins talks about, which are below integrity, and also talking about, I think, my understanding of God. They're slightly separate questions, but I'll speak on both of them. It's really, really important, and I think Hawkins doesn't go into. He does. I recommend everyone listen to all of Hawkins' videos. You can get them from Veritas Pub. I think the subscription is $20 a month, and you can watch all his videos, every lecture he's done. I recommend you get the subscription and listen to it for the rest of your life over and over again, because it will take you all the way from where you are to the highest levels of enlightenment and truth. And there's lots of information that you'll hear differently as you progress in consciousness. So I do recommend it. He's cryptically put in all the information you need to hear, even though you might not hear it on the first go. All right, so below 200, you've got the fields of pride, pride, anger, fear, um, uh, guilt, shame, and apathy. So these energy fields are aligned. Now, they're attractor fields. They're like energy radio stations, and it's very important to know, and yet you can't know because unless you have the muscle test, or unless you become very spiritually advanced and you have the opening of the third eye, which is quite a high thing. But just reading about Hawkins' research will give you a clue. I often find if I talk to a person, um, you can start to hear what kind of energy field they might be at. You know, are they angry? Do they want to kill everyone? Are they full of shame? They feel sorry and guilty all the time for existing. Are they full of fear? They say the whole world's going to blow up and they're afraid and they're stocking cans of baked beans in their basement for a nuclear attack and they're very afraid. Um, are they into guilt? They're feeling guilty, or they think other people are guilty and either they deserve to die or other people deserve to. So you get a field, and you've got to know these are like radio stations. So if you're tuned, addiction is another major field. So if you're on that frequency, then which I knew because I'm as an addict, there's never enough donuts to eat, or there's never enough money you've got in the bank account. There's never enough. Even if you buy 10 bags of donuts from the supermarket and you get home, you finish them all and it's not enough. You have to go out and get more donuts. Or if you're addicted to money, you earn you've got a million in the bank, but that's not enough. You've got to make another million. So it's a field of never enough. And you get programmed with these thoughts from the energy field like a radio station, and they run you. So all of these fields, if you're tuned into them and you agree to them, they run you like energy fields, and they're negative, so they're destructive. So they destroy you, and they definitely destroy your spiritual nature, and they also destroy everything around you because your nature is energy draining, negative, predatory. As you go down the darker fields, it gets darker and darker. So as you go down to the darker levels, even it can get quite bad down there. So yeah, okay. So I think that's what I'll say. I'll say avoid it. If you read Hawkins' book, Transcending the Levels of Consciousness, listen to his videos, get a feel for these energy fields and avoid them. I would say avoid. He said, like, he gives lots of good, great tips. Like, for example, if you go to a place and it's full of litter on the streets and you sort of think there's probably drug addicts smoking drugs all over the place, it's a low vibration. You're likely to get mugged or recruited into a gang or killed or something. So you don't want to be around those energy fields. Those energy fields, if you stick around those energy fields, they may start to sort of affect you, or you may start to agree to them. Or yeah. So I think it's good to stay with the highest and spiritual energy fields because they're full of love, forgiveness, joy, and they have greater clarity to lead you out of the darkness back to the light. So that ties me into my understanding of God. I mean, I sort of, I love Hawkins because and his works because he describes the levels of consciousness. Um, I think, the fields of high spirituality are conditional love, unconditional love, ecstasy, bliss, and then enlightenment, the infinite fields of God consciousness, with the death of the ego at the various levels of enlightenment. So I'm very, very lucky. I've had lots of mystical experiences on my own and with spiritual teachers, very profound ones. And Hawkins describes them really well. The feelings of bliss, ecstasy, um, witnessing timeless, sacred. The Course in Miracles describes it perfectly. The hush of heaven. It's like your thoughts go silent and there's a holy presence and everything is just imbued with sacredness. And it's the most beautiful, sublime experience. So that's and I think the Course gives a great description, the hush of heaven. I think that's a field of very godliness. That's probably reasonably high calibration. There's ecstasy. I had that once. I mean, spectacular experience. That's probably about 570-ish calibration. That's getting closer to God. And there's the field of witnessing and just crying because everything's so witnessed to be stunningly beautiful in Technicolor. That's also a beatific spiritual experience, I think, in the high 500s. And then I had the white light spiritual experience with a teacher, unfortunately, who's now fallen. I no longer recommend him. And I don't really like talking about him on video. But anyway, so yes, what's behind the observer, and I had a white light spiritual experience. And that for me is the taster of the enlightened fields, which is infinite. There is no world, there is no thought, there is no me, there is no you, there is no this or that. There's just infinite love, light, and power at such a sublime and infinite level. The only description I can have, it's like it's being in the middle of the sun, and the light is so intense, and the love is so intense at the level of infinity that no darkness, no thought, no world, no time, nothing can exist there except infinite love and eternal rest. And it's sublime beyond this world. It's not of this world. It's before this world. And this world can never exist in that place because it's beyond the darkness. I mean, this world is like a very dark shadow compared to being in the infinite light. So that's what I'd say is the infinite fields of God, which are spectacular beyond this world. And then in this world, you've got the higher fields of spiritual connection like bliss, ecstasy, stillness, sacredness, technicolor, witnessing of everything unfold before you. So those are the higher fields of getting towards enlightenment. So that's my understanding of God. So just being identified with this world and beliefs and thoughts and me and you is already, for me, getting into the darker fields of duality, not into the infinite fields of God's infinite light and love. So, but still, that's fine. As you let go of the thoughts and programs and attachments to this world, you get into the more elevated experiences, getting closer to God's love and radiance. Okay, that's a wonderful question, and I'll stop the video there.